There's a real buzz building around Rangers right now, and you can feel it in the air as the team heads into this short break before the split kicks off. Coming off the back of that incredible 6-3 comeback, it's the kind of performance that doesn't just earn 3 points. It shifts belief, it changes perception, and maybe even more importantly, it sends a message to everyone watching. This wasn't just another win. This was a statement that this side has found something within itself that maybe wasn't there earlier in the season. The game itself was chaos in the best possible way, the kind of match that keeps you glued from start to finish. While other leagues might have delivered dull, forgettable fixtures, this was football at full throttle, relentless, unpredictable, and full of moments that had fans on the edge of their seats. It's becoming a real theme this season, the level of excitement on display, and Rangers are right at the heart of it when they hit this kind of form. What really stood out, though, was the shift that happened after the break. There was a clear tactical tweak, and it completely transformed the flow of the match. Going with 2 strikers up top gave the team a different edge, more presence, more aggression, and a directness that caused constant problems. Suddenly, the opposition couldn't cope, and Rangers looked like a side with purpose, with intent, and with the hunger to go and take control. The impact was immediate and undeniable. 5 goals in the second half tells its own story, but it wasn't just about the numbers, it was the way the team played. There was movement, there was energy, and there was a real sense of belief driving every attack forward. It felt like a team that refused to accept anything less than turning that game around. And that mentality is something that hasn't always been there in the past. One player who really embodied that shift was Bojan Majowski. His performance was full of sharp movement, clever positioning, and a real striker's instinct in front of goal. You could see how much more comfortable he looked with a partner alongside him, someone to link up with, to create space, and to share the burden. It's no coincidence that his influence grew as the system changed, and it raises a serious question about how Rangers should be setting up for the rest of the season. There's a growing sense that sticking with 2 up front might be the key to unlocking the team's full attacking potential. It brings out the best in players like Majowski, and it adds a different dimension that makes Rangers far more difficult to defend against. When you've got that kind of firepower and movement at the top end of the pitch, it changes the entire dynamic of the game. At the same time, not everything was perfect, and that's important to recognize. There were still missed opportunities that could have made the scoreline even more emphatic. Those moments highlight that while the system is working, there are still areas that need sharpening, especially when it comes to being clinical in front of goal. In matches where chances are more limited, those missed opportunities could prove costly. Then there's the midfield, where Nicholas Raskin delivered a performance that reminded everyone just how influential he can be. This was a player playing with freedom, driving forward, picking up the ball, and making things happen. He wasn't sitting deep, he wasn't restricted, he was playing with intent, pushing the team forward and adding that extra spark from the middle of the park. That kind of role seems to suit him perfectly. He's not a player who should be confined to a holding position. He's at his best when he's allowed to move, to carry the ball, and to inject energy into the attack. His goal summed it up, a moment of quality that came from confidence and willingness to take responsibility. That's the version of Raskin that Rangers need for the run-in. And when you start to look at the bigger picture, that's what makes this result feel so significant. It's not just about one match, it's about what it represents going forward. There's a shift in mentality, a sense that this team is no longer fragile when things don't go their way. Instead of collapsing, they're responding, they're fighting back, and they're showing the kind of resilience that wins titles. With only a handful of games left, every decision now becomes crucial. The system, the personnel, the mentality, it all has to be spot on. There's no room for passengers, no room for inconsistency. What we saw in that second half is the standard that has to be maintained, because anything less could open the door for mistakes at the worst possible time. And as the pressure builds, you can already see the psychological battles starting to play out beyond the pitch as well. Comments, narratives, little hints being dropped here and there, it's all part of the game at this stage of the season. But inside the dressing room, the focus has to remain on performances like that second half, because if Rangers can replicate that intensity and quality, they put themselves in a position where they control their own destiny. As the focus shifts beyond that explosive performance, attention naturally turns to the individuals who can carry this momentum through the final stretch, and Nicholas Raskin is right at the center of that conversation. There was something different about him in that match, something sharper, more assertive, and far more influential than what we've seen in recent months. He wasn't just involved, he was driving the tempo, demanding the ball, and pushing the team forward every time he had the chance. You could see the confidence flowing through his game, especially in the way he carried the ball from deep areas into dangerous positions. That ability to break lines, to move past opponents and open up space, is something Rangers have been missing at times this season. When Raskin plays like that, he transforms the midfield from something functional into something dynamic, and that makes a massive difference to how the entire team operates. His goal captured that perfectly, a moment where instinct and intent came together. Picking up possession, driving forward with purpose, and finishing with precision, it was the kind of action that lifts a team and energizes everyone around him. Those are the moments that define matches, and more importantly, they're the moments that define players during a title run-in. There's also a growing argument that his role needs to remain exactly as it was in that game. Not sitting deep, not restricted by defensive duties, but given the freedom to influence the match in advanced areas. When he's allowed to play box-to-box, when he's encouraged to take risks and push forward, that's when he delivers his best football. It's about trusting him to make things happen rather than asking him to hold things together. And with that in mind, leadership becomes an interesting topic. In periods like this, when every match carries weight, the importance of strong personalities on the pitch can't be overstated. Raskin showed signs of stepping into that role, not just through his performance, but through his attitude, his energy, and the way he seemed to lift those around him. It's the kind of presence that can shape the outcome of tight, high-pressure games. Of course, while some players are stepping up, others are facing increasing scrutiny, and that's part of football at this level. When the stakes are high, every mistake is magnified. Every lapse in concentration becomes a talking point. Consistency is everything, and right now, there's a clear demand for reliability across the pitch, especially in key positions where errors can prove costly. That brings an edge to the squad selection for the remaining fixtures. Every choice has consequences, and there's a sense that decisions now need to be based purely on form and impact rather than reputation or past contributions. It's about putting the strongest possible team on the pitch for each game, players who are ready to match the intensity and deliver under pressure. Away from the pitch, the noise is already starting to build, and it's no surprise at this stage of the season. Comments from outside, opinions being thrown around, narratives being shaped, it's all part of the psychological side of a title race. There are voices trying to shift expectations, trying to influence perception, but inside the club, the focus has to remain internal. It's easy to get distracted by what's being said elsewhere, but the reality is simple. Performances will decide everything. If Rangers maintain the level they showed in that second half, then outside noise becomes irrelevant. It's about control, about keeping standards high, and about not allowing anything to disrupt the momentum that's been built. At the same time, planning for the future continues in the background, and there are already signs of movement when it comes to potential additions. One name that's starting to generate interest is Elijah Just, a player who has been quietly building a strong reputation with his performances. He brings something that Rangers have been lacking: directness, pace, and a willingness to take on defenders. What makes him particularly interesting is his adaptability. Primarily operating from the right, he has the ability to cut inside onto his stronger foot, creating opportunities both for himself and for others. That kind of versatility is valuable, especially in a system that demands fluid movement and attacking flexibility. He's not limited to one role, and that opens up different tactical possibilities. There's also the advantage of familiarity with the league. Players who already understand the demands, the tempo, and the physical side of the competition often settle quicker and make an immediate impact. That's a key factor when you're looking to strengthen a squad without going through a long adaptation period. His numbers this season back up the eye test as well, contributing with both goals and assists, and showing consistency across a significant run of games. It's not just flashes of quality, it's sustained performance. And that's exactly what you want from a player stepping into a side with high expectations. Beyond the statistics, it's his style that stands out. Direct, aggressive, always looking to move forward, always looking to create something. That mentality fits perfectly with what Rangers need, especially against teams that sit deep and try to limit space. Having players who are willing to take risks and break defensive lines is essential in those situations. As things stand, it's still early in terms of any potential move, but it's the kind of link that makes sense when you look at the bigger picture. Building a squad capable of competing consistently requires smart recruitment, players who can add quality without disrupting the balance, and players who are ready to contribute from the moment they arrive. And while all of that develops in the background, the immediate focus remains firmly on what lies ahead. The margin for error is gone, the pressure is only going to increase, and every performance from this point on will carry massive significance. What we saw in that second half has set the benchmark, and now the challenge is to meet it again and again and again as the season reaches its defining moments as the countdown continues. There's a growing sense that everything now hinges on maintaining that same intensity and sharpness that turned the game around so dramatically. It's no longer about potential or glimpses of quality. It's about delivering it consistently when it matters most. Every touch, every run, every decision on the pitch carries weight, and the players know that there's no margin left for complacency. What makes this stage of the season so compelling is the psychological battle as much as the football itself. You can feel the tension rising, not just among the supporters, but within the teams chasing the same objective. Little comments from outside, subtle attempts to shift pressure, they all play a part in shaping the narrative. But for Rangers, the key is to stay locked in, to treat each match as its own challenge without getting pulled into distractions. There's also a clear identity beginning to emerge in how the team wants to play. That attacking intent, the willingness to commit bodies forward, and the belief that games can be turned around even in difficult moments. That's something that builds confidence across the squad. When players trust the system and trust each other, performances naturally rise, and that's exactly what seems to be happening right now. At the same time, squad depth is going to be tested. These final matches will demand energy, resilience, and smart rotation where needed. Injuries, fatigue, and suspensions can all play a role, so having players ready to step in and deliver is crucial. It's not just about the starting 11. It's about the entire group being prepared to contribute when called upon. The attacking options, in particular, feel more dangerous when there's variation in approach. The shift to two strikers has added unpredictability, and when combined with midfield runners breaking forward, it creates a constant threat. Defenders are forced into difficult decisions, and that's where spaces begin to open up. If that pattern continues, Rangers will create chances in every game they play. Defensively, though, there's still a need for concentration and discipline. High-scoring games are exciting, but they also highlight areas that can be exploited if not addressed. Clean sheets at this stage can be just as valuable as big attacking performances, especially in tight matches where a single goal might decide the outcome. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. A storm appears to be brewing behind the doors of Rangers, as whispers grow louder that manager Danny RÖHL has reached breaking point with one of his own players. Sources close to the dressing room suggest tensions have been simmering for weeks, but matters may now have boiled over in dramatic fashion. According to well-placed insiders, RÖHL is said to have lost the hide during a recent internal exchange, allegedly demanding the immediate departure of a first-team figure whose identity remains tightly guarded. While the club has offered no official comment, the noise coming out of Ibrox paints a picture of a manager unwilling to tolerate anything less than full commitment. It's understood that the flashpoint may have stemmed from disagreements over attitude and application rather than outright performance. RÖHL, known for his intense approach and high standards, is believed to have questioned the player's professionalism in front of others, a move that reportedly sent shockwaves through the squad. Those familiar with the situation claim this is not an isolated incident. Friction has apparently been building, with subtle signs of unrest visible in recent training sessions. Body language, it seems, has spoken volumes, and RÖHL has taken notice. Speculation is now rife that the club hierarchy could be forced into a difficult decision: back the manager's authority or risk unsettling the wider squad by allowing the situation to fester. At a club where expectations are relentless, Such internal discord rarely stays hidden for long. For supporters, the uncertainty adds another layer of intrigue. RÖHL's fiery reaction may divide opinion, yet it underlines a clear message. No player is bigger than the badge. Whether this leads to a swift exit or a dressing room reconciliation remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the Comet Rangers has been well and truly disturbed. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.